Nearly 10 years, man. I'm not nearly 10 years.
I know.
We're coming up on our 10-year anniversary.
Whoa, time flies.
God bless. We're still here, man, alive.
No,
I'm
I
so
know.
happy to see you.
Oh, yeah, I'm happy to see you too.
Sounding so light on your feet, man, but also
Thank you.
always with things to say.
Always.
I just love how you've been able to create the chemistry on this album, which kind of allows you to move, allows us to move.
Right.
But also, you know, there's been things moving around you, things shifting beneath your feet. You look grounded, you feel grounded. How's life?
Thank you.
How do you feel right now?
I feel great. I feel content. I feel like maybe before around this time, you know, pre-album, I would be feeling a lot of anxiety, but I feel like the only thing that I'm really anxious about is the world just discovering how much I love this album through hearing the album, even vocally, where you're hearing me sing these songs and I'm just at the top of my game energetically and just, it's free, it's floaty.
It sounds like you look right now, light in your eyes, you know. I just feel like you're engaged with your performance and you're really feeling everything that was coming out of the studio during that time. There's also a lot of music on this album and it came on hot on the heels of your last record. So, I mean, you tell me, but I would, if I was, you know, going to guess as a betting man, I would suggest that once you got your head around the fact that you wanted to make music at this point and you had things you wanted to say, that it actually happened pretty fast. It's
so fast. I think the thing about Sincere was it took me so long, but once I got it out, it only opened the door, this flood of creativity, this eagerness, this, I'm like a horse in the stable just ready to run free. What do you put that down to? What do you think Sincere did for you as a writer and as an artist that kind of allowed you to climb above the clouds a little more? This album would have never been what it is if it wasn't for the groundwork of Sincere. I look at Sincere as the stepping stone. It's like that moment of release where I was holding on to all of this depression and sadness and I'm able to bottle it up and give it to my fans, and it connected to people in a way where they really felt my hurt. And now that I got the hurt out, there was just so much freedom, so much love to discover. And it only makes so much sense that love to discover translated through the music, because I'm discovering love with every song that I'm writing every day. This, like I said, eagerness day in, day out, where I'm writing the quickest that I've written since the beginning of my career. Because you feel truly free? Free, truly. It's amazing how your inner voice, if you allow it, and art plays such an important role in this, if you allow it, is able to teach even you things before we even get a chance to hear them and apply them to our life. You know, congratulations, man. You know, there's blue sky ahead of you now. I'm sure you feel like the truest self that you could feel. Yes. But when you were making Sincere, you talked about the depression, the anxiety, what was going on in your life. Were those things connected, do you think, looking back on them now? Of course. I think that's also why it took Sincere so long to be made, is because I was like, how do I become honest? You know, how do I reveal myself? But how do I keep something to myself as well? Right, because being at your most honest, it's like there's no hierarchy to that sometimes in society when you're in the public facing position. Right. It's like, oh, he's revealed quite a large part of himself to the world. What else is there for us to discover? Right. So it's like, I can imagine how intimidating that must feel. It was extremely intimidating. I think the only true reason, I mean, although I was prepared, I would say it would have taken a little bit longer. I think I just let go of it all. And I was like, I am just going to come into this. If I'm being exposed, if I'm being outed into the world, instead of shying away from the world, I've done all that already. I did that for 8 years of my career. I'm like, the only decision that I can possibly make is embracing it all. And it catapulted me into this creative space where the reason why I feel so light on my feet, I feel so free, is because music is a healing process. And when you're creating music, it's nourishment, it's filling your soul. And then I'm like, you know what? Wait, I'm making the best music of my life by being open, by being, by letting people in. When you're outside of that door, you don't understand it. But when you open that door and you cross through, you look back like, why did it take me so long? Look, I love how open and honest you've been
And you're right. I can't understand the kind of holding pattern or pain you would be in at times.
Right.
Did people know? Obviously, did your family and friends know?
Yes.
Did other artists know?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was a big secret.
Because I wanted to do it in a moment where I felt, I'm an artist. I wanted to do it when I felt like I was ready to do something.
Yeah, with purpose.
With purpose. And then the, balloon pops and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Now I have to find my footing, but I have to find it quickly. And I feel like it only inspired me because I had already anticipated and had plans of coming, back to pop music and making pop music. It was already in the works and in the plan.
Sincere had done its job.
Exactly. And so I think I just took it up to the universe, took it up to God, where I'm like, okay, this happened for a reason. Do I shy away from the reasons or do I discover it through that process? It was kind of like, okay, American Teen, okay, I get a break. Location is going crazy. Do I not continue?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm like, do I not keep making more music and try to turn this into an album, or do I just I'm just going to take the fruits of what's been being given to me and I'm going to turn it into juice. I'm going to turn it into energy. I'm going to push myself. That's just who I am as a person, just in my creative nature.
But when we spoke on your second album, and I think I can say this now with the benefit of hindsight, and obviously we've known each other for a long time.
Right.
I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but looking back on that and a couple of clips came across my timeline maybe a year ago from that conversation we had, you seemed a bit detached, a bit disassociated.
Yeah, because I think that there was... The reason everybody's like, oh my God, I love American Teen so much, and American Teen impacted me is because it was free. There was freedom of expression. The only thing that I was focused on was being a teen. When you're a teenager, it's the only thing that you know. You don't experience. It's a blimp of life, and I feel like now I'm, in a way, coming back to that. It's like I put pause on that expression to create music to please the masses that are coming along, but it wasn't for me at that point. I wasn't making music for myself. And so I was extremely detached because although the music was great and it did what it did, my heart just wasn't in it. And when I took a year off, it took me 5 years to be able to be like, okay, you know what? Actually, I really love making music. And it's never that I completely lost sight. It's just that
what comes
it
with
was
it.
just so far.
Yeah.
I'm just down this hall. I'm like, I see the lights, but it's just really far. And what do I have to do to get back there? Being open, I'm like, this was the answer all along.
Yeah.
The openness started with Sincere, but it's like I was dipping my toe into the water, to the pool. I got pushed into the pool, and then I realized, I'm like, okay, you know what? It's actually not that bad. If anything, I love it here. And so I think that's just where I'm at now.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
And I know the fans are. We all are.
Thank you.
I mean, you can hear it in the music. It's all we ever want from our favorite artists is for there to be a place and time where you feel safe enough to express yourself in that moment. And give us something that we can add to our lives. And I can imagine it took you a second to kind of get back to that place of safety and security. And I don't want to go into the details of it, but it's one thing to be outed, which seems like even a strange phrase in 2025, right? Because it's crazy that we would even consider to be in or out of your own personal decision making.
Yes.
And who you are as a human being. But also there was trauma attached to that outing because it came on the back of it felt accusatory, at least in the way that it was presented. And so it must have been really challenging for you to kind of figure out, okay, if I'm going to be Khalid again, if I'm going to come out there as in the artist, how do I do so and not be looking around wondering who to trust and how to deal with this kind of shit?
I think that's why I lived my life the way that I did for so long, but it wasn't that I wasn't out to people that I really trusted. I mean, I can remember having conversations with Kiana Lede and, talking to her about my queer identity and being open and connecting and even like sharing tears in certain moments. Yeah. And so I felt supported by artists, I felt supported by Normani, I felt supported by collaborators that I knew and that I trusted. But, we do live in a world where once that is out, it's so hard for people to focus on everything that's not that.
Which is so crazy.
I'm like, I came here to make music.
Yeah.
I think that's why this album came to be, because I'm like, okay, yeah, we're divided. There's half of these people who are like, I love you. Half of these people are like, I hate you. How could you hide this from me? I'm like, you know what? I'm not hiding anything from you.
And who
it's just
are
none
you?
of your business.
And who are you?
I don't fucking know you.
Exactly. And this brings up a really interesting thing, and we're going to get to the music in a hot second, but it brings up a really interesting thing to me, which is this idea of boundaries.
Yeah.
And when you present an identity to people and we fall in love with the you we know, not the you that your family knows or you are getting to know in real life, then sometimes we lose ourselves a little bit, even with the best of intentions. And we say things like that.
Yeah.
Like,
it's parasocial.
Right. And at the end of the day, your job is to create music that you're honest about, and our job is to embrace it if we love it.
It's also like people being like, oh my God, he's gay, now his music's gonna suck. What do you mean? If you've liked my music before, there's a high chance that you're going to continue to like my music because I've always been gay.
Exactly.
It just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. That being said, this album is full of joy and gives you a chance to truly embrace the person you've always been.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you what the difference was like in the studio for you making this music versus before, and just kind of, give us a really good idea about what kind of environment this album was made in.
So much more open and collaborative. I think before, as a songwriter, I just was a little bit more hidden. I was just a little bit more to myself. I didn't want to share, not because I didn't like to hang and play around. And I didn't want to share because I didn't want to expose.
Well, that's part of the problem. That's why people are saying you kept this from me, because when you actually move like that, without even meaning to, you create an expectation of mystery.
Yeah, exactly.
And so everyone's like, well, this is the Khalid I know. He doesn't really move in these ways and move in these circles and do this kind of shit.
I'm debilitating myself.
For everyone's entertainment.
I'm, in a way,
it's crazy.
Excluding myself from amazing songwriters and producers because I'm just like, I don't want to slip up in a conversation. I'm my friends and maybe an engineer might know, and I bring in a songwriter and a producer, and they go as far as being like, well, let's say girl this, and let's say girl this, and I'm just like, oh, how about we say this? And I just got tired of doing the hopping through hoops. And I feel like with this experience making After the Sun Goes Down, there was just full trust, vulnerability, and openness with every piece of the puzzle, with every songwriter, with every producer. Conversations where Julia Michaels looks at me with the most sincere eyes, and it's like a tear twinkles, and she's just like, I'm just so happy for you to be in this place. Or working with Ilya and just feeling like we're just in our own zone because there's honesty, there's trust, there's openness, and that's what pushes me to write songs that land on this album, where on the same album that I'm discovering myself, I'm also tackling the trauma of losing a father at a young age. That song would have never came to be if I wasn't ready to be open,
Dude, it's like so good to have this conversation with you, and it's like we're really like before sometimes
connected.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I just feel like maybe I would be like, oh, okay, did he have a smoke before he came in? Like, where is he? You know what I mean? Like, and I realize now that maybe you were just checking every word.
Yes. And now I'm just talking and it's just flooding out of my mouth, and I'm not thinking about what I'm saying. I'm just being. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful?
Isn't it great to be human?
Yes,
unapologetically human.
Oh my God, because I can just cover my mouth and my hands and show my pretty little nails and not give a fuck. Like, I love it.
Last night, I know you had a warehouse party, and I watched some of the footage this morning, and it was just the pure joy that was coming out of that room.
You know what? It strengthens my bond with my fans. Like, it doesn't take away from how strong I have a connection with my fans. If anything, it deepens it. It deepens because I'm looking at my listeners, my supporters, and I'm letting them in. I'm not just like, okay, I'm in promo mode and here it goes. And they're talking to me, and I'm empathizing with them because I'm letting them in, because they're looking at me for who I am.
Yes.
It only just makes the bond so much deeper.
Which is why we do it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, and I'm having fun. I'm like, oh my God, wait, this is fun. And before I was like, it's cool, but there's this anxiety and there's this stress. And now I'm just like, oh my God, I'm having fun. Like I'm just dancing and and everybody's clapping and they're supporting me. And I'm like, wow.
Because you've arrived, man. And I mean, when we first met you and you had this moment, and it's like, I think about that generation, that came out around 15, 16, and it really, to me, was when the internet became a business model.
Yeah.
Before that, it was just kind of like, all right, it's a cool tool. It is what it is. Social media was taking hold and it was becoming like the thing. Obviously, it was really hitting its peak period. But I feel like, Tyler, you, Mac, SZA, Kendrick, Billy, Halsey.
Yeah.
There's a whole generation of American artists and some ones from around the world who kind of looked at the internet and started building your entire world within it and from inside out.
Yeah.
And if I think back on that now, especially when I think about the loss of Mac, I think about how grateful I am, that we have, that your generation for the most part is still here and can actually share some of this shit and survive it.
I think of kids. I think of just American Teen. I think of Control. I think of like those albums were so authentic through and through because it's time capsules of the freedom that came with just, I just made the song and I could just upload it on SoundCloud and then the world just, like I was having a genuine, authentic teenage experience. I'm starting to discover writing for the first time. It's the closest thing in my brain. The only thing I can think about is a sixth period and what I'm going to do when I get out of class and what party I'm going to go get fucked up at and where I'm going to ditch my head and sleep for the night. Like that's real shit, And I put it in the album and I'm just so glad I caught it before it got so hard to be real, because of the fear of, because I went through it. I'm like, I started out the gate being so free, so open. Times change. Like you said, becomes more of a business model. I have to be perfect and polished and I have to please this person and I have to please that person so quickly. I'm so glad I caught.
How old were you when it happened? How old were you?
18.
Yeah. And yes, I can use the internet. It can be mine. I can reach the world. I can have this life-changing experience, be my most authentic self. Lord really helped everyone do that.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I'm sitting on a tennis court writing songs about sitting on a tennis court. And if friends weren't going, fuck off, Lord, they were going, yes, I feel that way.
Yeah, Lord inspired me.
Right? And then you get to do that, and the internet goes, oh, cool, excellent. Now you're that.
So stay that. Stay 18 forever.
Stay 18 forever.
It's impossible, guys.
I mean, and that's why I'm so grateful. I feel like your generation is one of the most, I've said this before, one of the most inspiring generations in the history of music. For me, certainly in modern music, because you took something that was so wild and unruly like the internet and the tool that it is, and you actually came through the other side and have built long-lasting, careers out of this.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Right?
It's so crazy. I'm still doing what I'm doing. I feel like that's why it doesn't feel so long. But when you really reflect back, I'm like, there is so many years.
10 years in the internet is about 50 years in a normal career. Oh my
God, there's memes and all these things no one knows about now. And sometimes I feel like I age myself when I'm joking around with my friends. I'm like, kids are not talking about Vine, y'all. They don't even know what the fuck Vine. And in reality, I'm like, 10 years doesn't feel like that long when you are an adult. It does not feel like that long when you are living and working and going through anxiety and going through stress. That's like making the time. It doesn't feel like that long, especially being in an industry where you're probably doing 200 shows in a year on a great year.
Yeah.
How can it, and it just goes in a blur.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel that long.
And it's all math. It's all high frequency numbers. It's like, how many hundreds of millions of plays did I get?
Yeah.
Like, you got 100 million plays. Okay. But last time you got 400 million plays. What the fuck are you talking about? Like,
you know what? I think that's why now I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm still doing this shit.
Yeah, yes, I'm saying your generation actually have careers.
Yeah.
This is not supposed to have happened. It was supposed to be this big experiment on the internet, la 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 la. And this is one of the things I'm most grateful about is also you talked about anxiety and how just it raised the volume on that as a conversation topic, like for real.
Yeah.
Because you all experienced it at a really very, very acute level.
That's why I wrote Silence with Marshmello. You know what I mean? That's why I wrote songs that were so real in a way, like a cry for help to the people who listen to me. And now looking back that I've gotten through.
Talk, probably one of those too.
Talk, yeah. And now that I've gotten through it, when I look back, I'm like, oh my God, like although there was a struggle, I wouldn't change a thing of the journey that led me to where I am now. And yeah, it might have taken 10 years, but it feels new all over again. So I would not change a thing.
Because you're out of body.
Out of body. I am. Literally.
Man, and you know, the video, the movement, everything about it, to be able to explore a side of you that you probably always knew was there. Again, that's a really beautiful experience to be able, just like focusing on the art direction of it or the choreography of it, all the things you see probably people like Normani, good friends of yours, that they get to dabble and you're like, when do I get to play in that? I want to do that too, yeah.
Because when I was a little boy, I used to do that in front of my mirror and I used to watch my favorite artists and think, oh my God, wow.
But no, you're the guy that has to stand still and sing that song really meaningfully and in a heartfelt way. Nothing wrong with that, but still, like, can't I do it all?
Exactly, because life is all about duality. I don't get why it's so shocking that I'm liberated. I'm like, damn, like, don't we all get a chance to have a drink and just enjoy life and have fun and let your fucking hair loose? And like, we all deserve it. And I do it, and I'm not gonna hide that I do it.
Maybe that's just like a last minute check at the door to make sure it's real. Maybe that's what people are doing, and they're just like, you know what, I love this music, I love this for you, but I just want to make sure that this is real. Do you know how the world thinks?
When they question whether it's authentic or not, and they're like, oh my God, every artist just does this, and I'm like, what do you guys think of the world?
Well, that's a loaded question because the world is not a friendly place. And you know it's not a friendly place.
It makes me want to be myself even more.
Yeah. Which is, I think, what people really want.
I'm like seeing how fucked up shit is makes me want to just be myself even more. Yeah. Because I also think about the people who will feel impacted by it and will feel hopeful. Yeah. Because if I don't do it, and so-and-so won't do it, and then so-and-so won't do it, then it just turns into a whole bunch of people who are just conforming to these boxes to please the masses. I'm like, fearlessness is needed in pop music. And so I'm like, I want to do it too. And I'm going to do it.
Man, you've done it.
Thank you.
So much energy, so much dynamic energy on this record. Also, I love the real pointed sonic and kind of arrangement and melodic reference points to the music that you loved as a kid.
Yes.
The dark child of it all. Let's talk about that.
I feel like being a young child is the closest steps to purity. And I think that when I became a teenager, I became a little bit more guarded, a little bit more fearful, only deepened into my adulthood. I feel like this album is like my own letter to self, to that young boy, telling him all the possibilities that he can actually be if he just lets that fear go, lets that hurt go. And I think that although I can't physically touch the younger version of myself, this is like an energetic transfer. You know, maybe those sparks of moments of dreams that I had when I was a child were from me speaking to that version of myself where I am now. You know what I mean? I just feel
that kid's still there. I mean, that's
exactly. It is really a deep message to my inner child, and that was a child that lived through the thousands, that lived through the thousands and tens, and saw some of the most groundbreaking pop moments. The introduction of dirty pop into the world was major and was controversial.
It wasn't supposed to be that.
It wasn't.
Play your position over there on the charts. Do that thing.
Exactly. And so I think it's my homage to the risk takers, to the Janets, to the Britneys, to just the people who really pushed their pedigree and were like, I'm going to do it my way. I'm like, I get a chance to do that. And I'm gonna do it as well.
You did authentically. I mean, working with Darkchild was a real touch. Let's talk about what that felt like.
It's all about going to the source because, like you said, these people are still alive. We still are living alongside our icons.
And it's their sound.
And it's their sound.
It's not like they have to go back and figure out how they did it. It was authentically who they are back then. It still is.
Why am I gonna go to a producer and be like, yo, make me a song, but make it sound like Darkchild?
Exactly.
When Darkchild is alive, well, breathing. For me, I'm like, if we're gonna go and dust off the pop textbooks, we have to resource the people who are still alive, well, and iconic. And I could have gone through that song and I could have ignored the Darkchild tag. I could have just sang the song, and I'm like, no, this is an homage. The reason why it feels so classic is because I'm working with the source.
So what did you learn?
I learned that authenticity is just one of the most beautiful things in connections, not only about music, but about the world. Like, I'm working with people, Swedish pop geniuses who have pioneered and created songs like Hit Me Baby One More Time. And I'm like face to face with these people, having conversations. And it's authentic and it's real and it's them and they're there. I always want to pull from the source.
Performance-wise, how did Darkchild get something out of you that you haven't gotten before? What's the technique?
We talked and just had a genuine conversation, and I gave him his flowers and gave him his props and told him about all the music that I was inspired by, and listened to the Darkchild playlist on my way to the studio, being reminded of all these just major hits. And we took chances, and we didn't just make one song, we made a couple of songs. And Out of Body was just the one where I was like, oh my God, this fits the world that I'm living in so much. And there's still other songs, you know what I mean? There's still other songs. I think it was just trust. He plays a beat, fire beat, that he trusts me to hop on and execute it the way that he desires. It's trust. It just was really an incredible experience and really quick.
Is that something you'd struggle with in the past in the studio, is trust?
Yeah. I think that I have my oppositions and reservations. I'm like, I want to let people in, but I want to let people in, but. And I think with this album is, I'm like, I want to let people in, period. And when I did let people in, I'm like, I had the most fun that I've had in my career, 10 years in it now.
Have you reconnected with some of your older songs in a different way now that you're able to kind of hear them differently and realize that, like, because it is like, it's probably a similar conversation to having with your younger self. We listen to some of these songs that were written during a different time in your life when there was more sort of more tumultuous feelings going on in you about who you were really versus who people thought you were, or wanted you to be even. Do you get to go back and make peace with those songs too and kind of breathe new life into them? Yeah,
I love 18. I love that song so much. I think what breathes life into me, I met a fan yesterday at listening for the album, and her father was with her, and he was like, "We love your music. You've been raised. She's been raised. The daughter's been raised by your music. We love your music so much." And actually, she's turning 18, and I'm like, wow, I love that I made a song. I love that I made an album. I love that I made something that still culturally impacts people, that they bring it up to me, they speak it to me, and I get a chance to do it all over again. I just love Young, Dumb, and Broke. I love 18. I love just those moments, location. I'm like, I love all of those, and I think I sing them and I perform them with an even bigger smile on my face.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's like in a way, it's like reconnecting with your songs for the first time.
It really is.
In a very different kind of way. Let's talk about Nah. I want to talk about this particular song.
The songs that I released before were a little bit more modest, a little bit more shy, where I'm speaking about love as a longing of loss. And I think this is an acceptance of disrespect. Like, you disrespected me and I'm not dealing with this anymore. I'm not longing for you. I don't want anything to do with you. Your clothes are sitting outside the house. Come get them and get out of my life. Before, it might have been like, I still have your number saved and I'm hoping that you get a chance, you know, that you think to call me. There was an insecurity that influenced a lot of the writing in my younger years. And now there's a confidence that's influencing the writing where I'm at now. And
how do you translate adoration when you're feeling insecurity most of the time?
Yeah.
How do you absorb that version of love where people tell you how great you are and scream your name and sing your songs and cue up?
Well, you sit alone when it's done in a dark room thinking, wow, I'm still alone.
That part.
So I didn't want to be there my entire life. I respect where I was because it's a part of the growth. I embrace where I was because I'm like, oh, you know what? You were never really as alone as you imagine yourself to be, as you imagined yourself to be. And I love looking back, but it was hard.
I think truthfully, like, again, not to overstep, but I think it was always pretty clear that there was struggle going on there.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of like sort of understanding the position you were in and the gift you were given, but what to do with it and how to accept it.
I had no confidence. I'd hop on a song with I would hop on a song with a producer, for example. He probably doesn't even know this. I hopped on Marshmallow's song. I started to compare myself to every song that he's done before. And thought, damn, am I good enough?
Horrible.
No one knows this. The music does what it does. I'm still not fulfilled because I still don't feel great inside. I love where I'm at now because I'm like, oh my God, I'm actually fucking having fun. I think my entire team is just really happy that we are where we are now.
Same.
Yeah, thank you.
Man, I'm a fan. You know that. And, you know, we've known each other a long time. And you know, I have the real privilege of sitting in a room like this or meeting up with artists and finding out where they stand at any moment in their life. And sometimes it's tough. Sometimes it's not a happy place. Sometimes you can tell it's not a happy place. And you go where you're invited and the conversation sometimes goes there, sometimes it doesn't. But today it's like a new thing.
Yeah, it's like, nice. It feels nice to be real.
It's so real, and it's just, and it's also just feels nice to be connected.
Yeah,
and not feel like I'm trying to find out where you are because you're fucking smoking yourself out of it. You know,
it's because I respect you.
I love you too, man.
And I love you, and I trust you.
Yeah. It's beautiful. The music is pure joy, but again, also some really, really, really important life work going on in this. You talked about that particular song and other areas of the album where you're dealing, I guess, with a clear head for the first time to uncover some of that early trauma, which probably created the internal prison in the first place, the internal box in the first place.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember writing Hurt People. And I remember we were just sitting in a circle just talking the day before about life and loss. About lost life. And I just was really open. I don't even know what brought me to being that comfortable to talk to a room full of people just about the grief of my father and how it still affects me to this day. And a great songwriter listens. So I come into the studio the next day, just not even imagining what I'm going to create. I don't really think that far ahead all the time. But I go into the studio. Savin, he's like, I have this concept in my mind. He's like, hurt people. You know, you trusted us and you told us about just things that you've gone through in life and how it's shaped you. And I'm like, oh my God. And so we start we start writing the song, and it's like the words are just flowing. Like just like this endless, like I probably wrote that song in like 5 minutes.
Magic.
It just was waiting to be,
it was
just waiting to be brought out.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm going line after line, and it's just so quick. It's like, damn, I've always wanted to speak about this.
I love when I hear things like that because, it just reinforces that like music is magic.
It is.
What that song is to me in a very real way is a clear break of the cycle, right? The title says everything you need to say. I mean, you can double it up as a powerful statement, but really hurt people. I mean, that's how it is. And the only way you stop that is by actually recognizing that you were hurt in the first place and moving forward.
And to have a conversation with my mother that I've never had on a song is just, it gives me chills just thinking of just hearing my mom in a way soothe and heal the way that I've always known her to do with her voice. And we're just singing together, and it's gonna help people.
Were you in the room together?
We weren't, but she recorded it where I recorded location.
Amazing.
It's like a full circle moment. And she helped me do like the BGVs and sequencing of location as well. It's full circle.
How has recording a song like that and what's happened in the last year, how has that influenced and helped your relationship with those closest to you, starting with your mom? Like, how has that helped the relationships in your life?
It just makes me want to celebrate them. I think just the support that I have from my friends, my family, my mom, it just really makes me want to celebrate them. Like, truthfully, there's two people who are directly above me. The person who's like touching my head, it's my 4th grade best friend. And the person above with the animal print, also a best friend of mine. It just makes me want to celebrate the people around me and bring them with me through this journey because they've always been there to support me. So to have this conversation and to even play that song for my best friends, for them to shed their tears and for them to cry because they feel affected by it. My friends and I have all seen the journey and have all seen the road. My family and I, and my team and I, we've all seen how treacherous it's been, and to be able to feel free where I'm in an album cover where I'm actually surrounded by people and just not by myself.
And by the way, everyone's having a really good time. It says everything you need to say, which is like all bets are off. Like I'm not standing out in the wilderness on my own next to a van anymore.
I'm supported.
And I'm not like, all your stuff was you on your own, always on your own.
Yes.
And now it's like you're not on your own anymore, man. I mean, this is you get to be unapologetic yourself with people.
Power to it. It's so powerful and it feels so good.
Some more music, more of everything to come.
Yeah, because now you're not going to be able to get me out of the studio. I'm like, oh my God, I still have so much to say.
That's their problem. How to balance it all. Make sure that everything stays on the road.
Yeah.
I have loved this conversation so much. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
And thank you for bringing your honesty into this room and for being such an open and generous collaborator in this conversation with me.
It's deserved.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Love you.
Love you too.